until I started this project. And so I started real estate. I thought I was a very organized person.
I
I
do
have
have.
papers
I know. It's
in
kind of
every room
scary,
of my
right?
house.
I know. How did you like, who's coming in?
Just
Matt.
Matt.
So Derek gets
So,
an awesome
You're
private
gonna get beaten down.
session. So I just saw Kim Balson, and she said that she's been watching all the videos, but on Wednesdays something keeps coming up. And I said, well, like, what about right now? Because she was just standing here, and she said, well, I'm waiting for the computer guy to set up my computer. And I said, well, where is he? She goes, I don't know where he is yet. And I said, so jump on
Yeah.
till he walks in. So we'll see. How'd you like the whole thing with Trevor? The business planning thing last week with Trevor.
I didn't see Trevor's thing.
You weren't you there Thursday for the skills? Sure you were, weren't you? The 2021.
I don't think I was. I don't recall this.
Well,
I'll have to go. I will go back and watch it because what come up on Thursday? Why wasn't I there? No, I'm gonna have to go. I told you I'm getting a little organized.
so
So
go
yeah,
watch
I
it.
wrote down and got daily. I'm writing down everything from my daily breakdown.
Good. So
Start keeping track of what I didn't. I don't. I will go back and watch that.
it's okay.
I'm
I didn't mean to fluster you.
So let me just start out since I got Matt and you guys together. And I know I called Matt yesterday. He was in a mastermind.
Mhm.
I got new buyers, and they're young kids. They're in their early 20s and they're trying to buy a house. And I got 3 or 4 clients like this. And they keep getting beat out. Matt gave me a great option yesterday to start calling expireds and say, hey, I got a qualified buyer. I'm going to start working on that today. But here's what happened last week with 2 people. I am getting beat out now with buyers paying the commissions.
Really?
Yes.
This is the
Yesterday
first. This is the first time I'd ever really heard that.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was
in
the
today's
same Keller Williams agent
So
had
hold
both
on.
houses.
So
So basically, the seller's
Wait a
not
minute.
offering a commission. If the buyer's agent is expecting commission, it's not going to be paid by the seller. It's going to be paid out of the buyer's pocket.
Yeah, so that's what she goes. She was dumbfounded the first time she's seen it, but now it's happening more and more. And this is it's a Keller Williams over by Port Huron or like Marysville or something.
See, we have an office policy that we cannot list a property that is not offering a co-op commission. So,
do you think that that's some agent's way of grabbing a FSBO? I can't
could
imagine.
be.
You
Yeah,
should talk to Pete.
I'm going to give her a call back. Oh, I hate to do it on a weekend, so maybe Monday or something. The agent see what that's becoming how they're doing that.
Is it on the MLS that it shows 0 to the buyer's agent?
No, it shows 3%
No, they
on
have
each
to
side.
show 3.
Yep.
Well, I think what also what Derek was saying is that even though they're maybe offering 3, the multiple offers on the property, to sweeten the deal, someone's putting that in, and
Oh, is
and
that what you're saying?
Yes. That's what's happening. So that's.
Oh, I thought it was just a listing wasn't
Nope.
offering anything. You're saying.
so they're saying, hey, because Tammy just had the winning bid on her property. She ended up not taking a commission. The buyers is the agent's son, so the agent was like, listen, I won't take a commission.
That's different because it's family.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, that to me makes more sense.
But I mean, in a really competitive market, you can only bid the price up so much, right? So, a buyer say, what is it going to take to win this? Well, I'll save the seller 3%. You just pay me commission on the side. It seems really hard. One,
Are we getting shady in our practice?
yeah, I mean, it just seems really hard to explain. But then also, I don't really think the buyers understand what that means. I don't know. It just sounds
They might if they're savvy enough, right? And they want the house.
Yep. So
Because then you don't have to worry about
the
appraisal.
one yesterday I was talking to Matt, they're going to be a rental. So they're going to turn around, rent that house. They can rent it out for $2,200 a month. It's cash flow positive, even if they go up to 200,000. So it's just one of those deals where I just want a cash flow positive house. Here we go, and that's what yesterday was, and I found that out later. So
Okay.
I got a lot of people that are actually buying through hedge funds, looking for houses that are that under $200,000 range, and they're just buying them to rentals.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
going back to your original, question in terms of competitive market for buyers, you and I discussed
Yep.
not really, setting the proper expectations up front, right? With a buyer to tell them how competitive this market is, especially if you know that they're using an FHA loan or a MSHDA loan or don't have the reserves to be able to do an appraisal guarantee. And then looking at homes that have been on the market a little bit longer, they might not have the luxury of being able to win a cupcake house that has all the bells and whistles done, but might have to put some sweat equity in.
Yes.
And then also pursuing off-market properties, specifically ones that have been expired or withdrawn in the past, year. Those sellers might still be interested in selling, especially if at that time you approach them, then they're only paying one commission, right? So yeah, it's a challenge. It certainly is, but
Right.
it won't last.
No.
So
Aaron, did you want to go over the offers that they had sent in? I had a few thoughts on those.
And I know
let me tell, okay. So let me tell Max and Michelle what was going on. So last week we went over launch 3 and 4, and number 4 is all about the buyer's side and all of the documents that are necessary when you are writing an offer. And the homework is to put together a mock offer and submit it to Matt and myself as though you're just an agent that's giving us an offer. So they did do that. And so that's what Matt's alluding to as far as going over them. So yeah, we can do that. Do you want me to let you share a screen or go over anything?
Sure.
Because I don't have it up.
Yep.
And then, so we're going to have to just be conscious of time, so that then 5 is about listing documents, right? So we can kind of field any questions if people have been watching the videos, as I hope that they are.
Okay, so can you see my email here? So Derek, we wanted, this is practice to submit, an offer in a real life scenario. It starts with the conversation with the listing agent and an email to the listing agent with the offer attached. So Derek, a couple thoughts on this. So this is obviously, again, a pretend listing, a pretend offer, but so you had put in here a straight offer without any confusion of escalation clause. So, okay, great. Escalation clause basically means, hey, my offer is this, but we will increase it if you receive other offers that are higher up to a certain point. Okay. So basically you were just pointing out that this is the dollar amount offer. But this language here, guarantee 10,001 over asking. Just if you're presenting an offer, it can be a little bit confusing a little bit until you get into the PA. So maybe just keep it, this is our offer dollar amount. Okay.
You could say with the $10,001 escalation clause.
Well, he didn't put an escalation clause in there.
Oh, he did not?
Yeah. So it's appraisal guarantee, I believe, right, Derek? That was your intention? Okay. So starting with the offer here, buyer to guarantee up to $325 if appraisal amount is lower. This can be confusing, right? Basically what you're saying is this is the price, right? This is the price, but should it appraise lower, we're going to cover the difference up to a certain amount. If that's the approach, keep the dollar amount that you're offering here and put the language for an appraisal guarantee in additional conditions. And we have the language for appraisal guarantees, escalation clauses, all of those things in a shared doc that has that's been reviewed by Pete, that you can copy and paste. It's a Google Doc.
And it's in the file section.
Yeah, it's in the file section.
Yeah.
So just to avoid confusion. Otherwise, this is good. Everything is here. You don't want to put a range here. If confirmed commitment for such mortgage cannot be obtained within, you want to put one date in there. I don't want to see a range there. So it's like, if it's 45 days, great, put 45.
The highest one, the longest one would be the best, right?
Because again, you're protecting your buyer, right? This is a purchase, an offer protecting your buyer. So you want to put as far out as possible. Okay. You want to make sure that they're signing, what else did I note? Yes, occupancy. Okay. So I always do the same. If you're going to do a flood zone certification, put the same amount of days there as you would for your buyer's inspection. If you're handwriting offers, be very careful. That kind of looks like a 7 to me. I think it's a 2. Just make sure you're, I know this is just pretend, but in real life, if you're not able to type it, be very careful with your handwriting, because it'll make or break a deal potentially. Like title policy, just put legacy title. Make sure that you have the full. This is okay. This is okay. You did, I like the order that you put it in. I know it's something simple, but you did a little cover sheet, you did the purchase agreement, then you did the disclosures. And then you just did as if you were taking the DMD, which is great. I know you did this for your client with exclusive designated buyer agency contract. You do not need to submit that when you're submitting an offer, just to clarify. That's for you and our mortgage pre.
That's a contract between you and your buyer.
Yep. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about this occupancy addendum. You had put in the offer that it was 30 days of free occupancy. Okay. So if it's 30 days of occupancy, which is free, you still fill this out. You just do the daily charge as 0. You can still have a $1 deposit held for a damage deposit right here.
You're muted, Derek.
I know you put waived for 30 days after closing.
Right, because right here in the section C is what threw me off.
It doesn't, you're right. It does not say, because I've run into this problem when, let's say we're offering 45 days of, or 60 days of occupancy, but the first 30 are free.
Yep.
That language isn't in there. So I've had to handwrite exactly what I just said.
And I would do the same thing in the purchase agreement. I would just say seller to provide up to 45 days occupancy. The first 30 are free. See attached addendum. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you were going to do 30 days and all 30 were free, it'd be 0 here.
Okay, that's what I first had down. I changed. I got a new paper and redid it.
But you can still have security being held. So even if the occupancy is free, you can still have the title company hold money for damages, and that's what you did here.
Yes.
Okay. And then I like you added a little addendum, just basically making sure that the personal property that was kind of conveyed.
And
let's go back. Let's stay right there for a second, Matt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Should I not have that in the purchase agreement and only on this?
Don't give that to the lender.
Yeah,
that's because it's on the purchase agreement in that special spot.
You could send it with the purchase agreement, but then split it and not send it to the lender.
Okay, so that should be like that. And on the original purchase agreement, all that stuff that I had there also, only on this.
You don't need to have both.
Yeah.
If it's on the PA, you don't have to do this.
But if you don't want the lender to see it, don't put it on the PA.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. The only thing on the PA that's not going to raise any red flags is TV mounts, appliances, window treatments, those kinds of things. Once you start getting TVs, couches, chairs, bookcases, don't
boats
put it on the PA at all. Yeah. I had a golf cart. Yeah.
Yeah. Tractors, that starts to be a value you can look at.
Okay. Yeah, everything else was good. You don't have to send this stuff with the offer to the agent, but it is, important to have for
Okay.
for our records to get paid. So
This is where Pete one day he was saying he wants this. I think he was going way overboard on some of the stuff he wanted to send over. So that's why
So
I
if
said,
you look at this is in the launch drive.
yep,
So it says, and it's split up, right? Like the administrative things that we just need for compliance, and then the things that actually go with the offer. So your PA, your disclosures, your lead-based paint, a pre-approval letter or proof of funds, right? Your disclosure, your agency disclosure, and then any addendums such as occupancy, septic, VA, FHA, stuff like that.
okay,
The administrative compliance stuff would be your buyer's agency contract and all that other stuff that
customer fraud warning. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
gotcha.
So thank you for doing that. Tammy, this is yours. Is Tammy's on with us? I lost.
Yep.
Okay. So she just put, again, a little thing. Attaches my client's offer for blah, blah, blah. Please let me know. Quick breakdown. I love it. Everything. Closed it date by. She just recognized the fact that or I was pointing out the fact that buyers would like to close sooner, but we're just putting a realistic date. Great. All good. Okay.
Yep.
Now, when you open it up, I would change the order of the documentation that you're sending.
I agree with that.
I'll tell you how. Do you know how?
I do now. So
Okay.
I got caught up.
For those of you who don't know what I'm
my
talking
goodness.
about, I want, as soon as I open up the offer, the first thing to be a welcome letter or like the first page of the PA, followed then by the disclosures.
Yeah, I think I need to do the once you get your envelope ready, and then in that second part you can move them around.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah,
And that-
once everything's all signed, you can select all of them in just the document section. It has nothing really to do with the envelope. And then there's a little button that says combine. And when you click combine, you can start dragging them into whatever order you want.
Okay.
Then you name it and it gives you one big PDF with everything exactly in the order that you want. And then you can just download that.
I think I actually did it twice. So my first time I went through, I think I was successful at rearranging it. And then I was like, oh wait, I didn't include the lead-based paint. But I had the seller's disclosure. So I went back, and when I went back and redid it, I didn't remember to put it in the right order.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So starting with up top, check this box. It's trivial, but it's important because we have a business center, a market center. Check this box because you're working out of this office. When you start here, this first line is just the city, township, or village of. So all you have to put there is Walled Lake.
Okay.
Okay, you don't have to put, and then it's comma Oakland County. This is where you'd put the full address like you did.
Okay.
Number one, just make sure that, again, this is a fake listing, a fake offer, but I always make sure I iterate here, even if it's on the MLS ticket, all appliances are included. I'm listing them all out individually here. Okay.
Because the MLS ticket is not a contract.
Correct.
Right.
Only
Yeah,
the
good
PA.
point.
And certain appliances are not considered built in. So they're not
So
chattel.
copy and paste whatever's on the MLS and just put it on there.
Okay. I'm going to write some notes while you're saying this.
Number two, terms, great price. Appraisal. I would not commit on our end to have appraisal order within 5 days.
What's a realistic day? I'm sure.
I would say 14.
That's what I say. So let's talk that timeline through. Most lenders don't want to order an appraisal until after the inspection, right? Because they don't want the buyers wasting their money.
Correct.
Oh yeah,
on
good
an
point.
appraisal if it's going to fall apart at the inspection. So at the most, if you have 7 days to do your appraisal, and then you have 2 more days to get back to the seller, that's 9. And they have 2 days to get back to you, that's 11. And then you have 2 more days to get back to that, right? If you really want to take it all the way out, you're at about 14.
Okay.
It usually doesn't go that long, but
And make sure
I do.
this is just ordered, so it doesn't mean it's like conducted and completed.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Conventional. This That good. We always want to range and make sure you're looking at a calendar so you're not putting a Monday, or I'm sorry, like a Saturday or a Sunday, right? You're doing a Monday to Friday or whatever, to give yourself reasonable time. Everything else.
So is there no occupancy?
No occupancy.
Okay, so you have to mark the no on
Yep.
there. I think
So
it was
put
blank.
some initial.
Okay.
So the buyer's
On
initial
number
no on 5. Yep. You're initially one or the other.
And you know what I
And it-
do? And I know,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, I was.
Oh, on where it says tenants, if tenants occupy the property,
Yeah.
you should have it empty. Even if there's no tenants in it, I always just click it. I don't know. I don't like leaving things blank.
You can't.
just
You. No. I mean, it's a good point. You
maybe
can't.
we're
What if?
like that,
What
but-
if between the offer or whatever, they had a buddy stay with them on the couch? I mean, you never know.
So
You can't get in trouble by being over detailed. Inspection of property, they need to initial. They are or they are not initialing or inspecting it. You're saying they are, so they would put right here.
okay.
I know it's a little weird because it says does after, but it's does or does not. Does.
So what I also did that I've done, like I took the class and I was able to do it, and then all of a sudden I couldn't figure it out when I was actually doing it, is how they will automatically pre-fill all these little initial
Yes.
spots. And
Yep.
I just need to review that video again, because I thought I knew how to do it and I have done it, and then I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So
So you just have to make sure in the details of the opportunity, you have to have the roles of your buyer or seller put in there. And
so
then when
that's
you
on
get,
the command part. Okay.
no. Nope. That's
Oh,
in your
nope.
DocuSign room. In the details of the DocuSign room, it's just a tab that says details. You need to make sure that they are entered as buyer or seller or whatever. And then when you get to your envelope, when you click on that little drop down to add participants,
Okay. Yeah.
you can either add a participant from the room, or you can add, I think it's called roles, pre-assigned roles or something like that.
Yeah.
If you click that one that says roles, that's the one that'll autofill if you have them entered in the details portion of the room, right?
I think that's
where-
what I missed, because I was looking for that roles option and it wasn't coming up, and I'm like, I don't know where I went wrong. So that's
Let me caution you that it is a time saver. However, you really have to be diligent when you're going through it, because it'll have the buyer initials in both does and does not, right?
Okay.
Because it doesn't know which one you want. So you need to make sure you delete the
one you
box for
don't
whichever
want.
one you don't want them signing. Same thing when you get all the way down to the bottom line, it'll show there that they're signing the bottom line, and you don't want them bottom
Oh.
lining it until you've already presented it, and all that kind of stuff. So you have to make sure you're going through and deleting anything that you do not want initialed or signed.
Okay.
Number here 7 days for inspection, 2 days for a response. 7 is way too long for the seller to have to provide a solution or a remedy. So I usually
Okay.
put 7. I've been putting 7-2-2-2 or 7-3-2-2 or something like that.
I do
Again.
twos all the way down.
Again, make sure that you're protecting your buyer. You know, the
Okay.
sellers. Doesn't mean they have to fix those things. They just have to be able to agree in writing that they're either going to fix it or give it.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
always remember that in real, when you're actually doing it, oftentimes you can ask for an extension because we need to get more quotes. Let's extend the expansion period, 3 days, because I got somebody coming out to tell me how much windows are, whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
Number 15, I would not make buyer pay for necessary inspections. If a house is located in a municipality or an area that's required for inspections, I would make seller sign it.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's under number,
That was number 15.
thanks. It's making me easier on my notes.
That was good. Principal, that's good. 2,500. One thing that I don't know what Pete says. I think Pete says collect the EMD at the time of, if it's a multiple offer situation, I'm not sure it's going to get selected or get accepted. I usually select the second one and I just put upon acceptance.
Yeah.
Okay.
That way I'm not chasing an EMD for a deal that doesn't even come together.
Yeah, Megan said she does it like she writes it after the inspection, actually.
We're not allowed to do that anymore, though.
Okay.
We used to do that years ago, like within 48 hours of the inspection, because we didn't want the MCs to cash something and then have to give it back to us because it was kind of a pain. But Pete started telling everybody, I think because of like when we get audited, by
Oh,
the
right.
state, whoever, that we can't do that or we shouldn't do that anymore.
At the time the offer is being presented.
I put here,
Okay.
I checked this box and upon accepted offer.
Okay.
And then if it's a personal check, make sure buyers are signing here. And this just acknowledges that the money's there. They're not writing a check saying, oh yeah, cash it next Friday. Everything else was good. You took this language from
Okay, let's look
something else?
I took it from one of my offers.
Oh. So we have all this language as well.
This isn't
I just
bad.
heard you say that.
No, this isn't
Yeah.
isn't bad actually.
Okay.
You do not have to send an exclusive designated buyer agency contract with an offer. It's for
Okay.
you get it signed, but it's for you, for us.
A lot of the agents did send them in to
Yeah.
me, so I
Well,
just
You
was.
don't have to.
They don't work at Keller Williams, and they don't have
Okay.
someone training them.
They just have to have the agency disclosure. I mean, that's what you have to send.
Yeah, and the only other thing, which obviously you don't have, which Derek just made up, would be a mortgage pre-approval letter. So,
Right. Right.
other than that, great job.
Thank you. And thank you for reviewing it. That was super helpful to actually do that.
Good.
Okay. Launch 5 is about listing documents now. Well, let me roll back one more thing before we run into listings. I hope you guys have been working on some type of buyer's presentations for yourselves, right? There's examples on the shared drive. There's a great template on designs. You need to work on that stuff if you haven't already. Now, while you have the time, because as soon as you have a buyer that says they're interested in at least chatting, you'll have something to share with them. Have you guys all done that? No? All right, Michelle, that's your homework.
And it doesn't have to be, don't be intimidated by like a packet that's bound. It could be literally a couple pages of just what it's like to work with you, a little bit about you, your commitment to people. And it's a living, breathing, growing document that you will improve over time, but it's something tangible. And for buyer consultations, I found that a lot of, especially newer agents, have a hard time making sure that they hit on all these things. So if they have something with them that just is like, step 1, pre-approval, then they go into a conversation about pre-approval. You don't have to write it all out. It doesn't have to be 3 paragraphs. It just keeps you on pace to make sure you're following it.
I watched 4 and 5 last night.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to go ahead and send over an offer and a listing to you?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Catch up by putting together just what we just went over. And then
Okay.
at the same time, the listing docs, which everyone else will do, as if you were listing a property.
Okay.
So just to kind of to what Matt was saying, there's the template and designs for the buyer's presentation as well as listing. And then there's a couple buyer, presentations on the coaching drive, if you look under buyer resources. And really, to me, the benefit is after you go through your spiel, they can take that home or you're emailing it, right? And they have it. And it's the process. That's what I find the most value into them. It's the process of this is what you can expect to see as we move through this. Because they're listening to you, but they might not be absorbing it all because they're still thinking about a question they had or, so it's good for them to have it because then they can look at it later. I call it bedtime reading. Like this is some bedtime reading, put it by your nightstand. I'll highlight it and we'll talk about it. And then you can look at the rest of this later. That's how I kind of go through it. Okay. So you guys watched the videos. does anybody have any questions right off the bat on number 5 that talks about the listing documents and, you know, that step-by-step process for listings? Let me see if I can. Whoops. Right there. Do you guys remember all of this from the video? You generate a lead, you convert a lead, you set up your appointment, you do your comps. That's actually something that we should assign to, have them comp something.
Yeah. Yeah. And keep in mind, again, this isn't like every single thing. There's probably 100 or
Right.
whatever, but this is, you know, star this as something to go back to keep in mind, right? And use this, don't reinvent the wheel. If you're doing a listing presentation or whatever, if you're building something, use this, you know, as a framework for what you want to talk about and how you want to present it.
So let's pick an address as well. Like something random. Anybody got an address? You guys want to do my house?
Yeah. Do yours. I mean,
You want to comp it? All right.
It's easy. Well, not easy. It's a home that the PRD information is
Yeah.
correct.
Okay,
And,
ready?
yeah.
Write this information down. Write down this address. And then send me a Christmas card. 14475 Park Lane, all one word. Livonia. All right, so comp that while you're doing all this stuff. So then when you guys put together a listing package and you send it to Matt and myself, put in there what you think the list price should be. Or a range, right? Maybe wholesale, market price, premium. You know, what are the 3 levels you think you would offer that house at, right? Does the person just want to dump it? Do they want to really just do market value, or are they kind of reaching for the stars? Or, I mean, because it's really updated and macked out inside, right? So you would go for the best price. And then we'll do the same thing that we did last week. Send all that stuff over to us by Sunday night, like midnight. So what kind of questions do you guys have after watching this one?
So when we put in our pretend MLS, are we just doing a listing presentation or actually putting it into MLS, I guess?
No, don't put it in. I want to just see the documentation as if you
Okay.
were getting a listing signed. So the
Listing
exclusive right to sell, all the addendums that are required, a fake seller's disclosure, lead-based paint completed.
Okay.
Like you were getting everything.
You guys see this?
You should be easy because you can use your own house.
I know. I know.
Well, unless you want them,
So,
you want them to
This
do
was
it.
before we moved over to.
No, I'll practice it again because I had Pete walking through with me when I did mine. So I want to be able to know I did it. I can do it on my own.
Got it.
Can you guys see this page with the documents required?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure which screen was sharing. So this was put together before we moved into DocuSign, and so we're going to have to maybe change the titles of some of these, but they're the same gist. It's the same form. And again, there's the listing documents, which really apply to the property themselves. And then those administrative compliance documents are more about us, right? They're about the office and the different things we have to do. Make sense?
Yes.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I think I'll wait till next time.
And all of these administrative docs are in Google Docs, right?
The list
The
is
list
in
is
that
there.
drive.
No, just joking.
There is a
when are you coming back?
folder.
Next month.
There is a folder
I'm not even on the list.
under. Whoops! I just went to the wrong one. Darn it. if you go down here under buyer resources, there's a folder. These are all the documents as they were when they were in Dotloop. But again, they're all the same forms. So you
Okay.
can go here if you want to hand write it and just print them off.
Okay.
If you
Thank
want to practice using DocuSign, which is helpful because, you know, that's what you'll have to do, you would just download a package, you know,
And it really doesn't matter if we use GMARS documents or RealComms. It does matter?
use the ones that we have designated because we've had attorneys that include specific language in our contracts to best protect you as an agent and your client, you know, as the seller. You know, some of them might be a GMAR or real comp form, but some of them aren't. So I have, how do I look at all my rooms? How do I go to all of my rooms? Well, I'll just click on this one. This is weird. This looks different. There we go, rooms. I have a room that I think, see how it says my room? I use that to just like maybe download some forms that I want to look at, or I want to print off blank stuff I don't necessarily want associated with a property. That's just what I do. So if you go to add DocuSign forms and you go to, whoops, sorry. If you go to groups and you just do a listing package, it's going to give you everything, all of these things that you can pick from. And these are all, some of them say KW, right? Some of them say GMAR, but they're like Market Center approved. How's that? Does that make sense? What do you think, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I have not jumped all in with DocuSign. So
Anyway, so that's where you get all those things.
yeah,
Any other questions?
they're all in there and they're all searchable.
Tammy, how are you doing with your contacts? Are you still adding 5 a day?
I didn't add 5 yesterday. I had looked at my weekly schedule and I worked in the morning on, I decided to do I'm not even in the screen. I decided to sponsor a hole at a golf outing. So I ordered some swag to give out, and but I am working Saturday and Sunday this weekend, so I figured I could take Tuesday off.
Just make
and
up for it, right? So
Yeah.
well, how does it go? If you can't, what's the terminology, Matt, about replacing it in bold? There's a little saying. Basically, if you can't do it, you need to replace it. Like do it the next day and replace it. So like do 10
Right.
today, make up for the 5. Something like
Absolutely. Yeah. And I have this evening clear. So that's why when I was looking at my week, I was like, this is when I'm going to allocate time. I also finished my little goal sheet. I have one in my office area at home too.
Good. Michelle, how many contacts do you have in command? Or accumulated somewhere?
Well, I have an issue with Command. I tried downloading about 400 contacts, and what happened is I guess they're having issues to where it only downloaded 165, and it didn't download the rest of them. And then now it's I guess they're having issues. It's putting the wrong information in the wrong spots, like email is going where the phone's supposed to go. So I haven't really been able to use my contacts in Command. I did call them support, and she said that I can't even archive them and get rid of them. She said once they get their end finished, shoot her an email and she'll wipe my database because I can't even wipe it right now. It's not deleting anything.
So what's your next step? You're waiting to hear back from them that it's all fixed, or?
I'm gonna keep following up with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to do besides just use my, my Excel sheet that I have everybody on.
I'm going to ask Rob about it.
So I
He knows
can't do any smart plans because, all the categories are wrong in my contacts. So yeah.
Okay.
When
That's
you
where
guys
I'm
were at Mega Camp, they did an update. It was down for like those couple of days that you guys were
Yeah.
at Mega Camp. They were actually down.
Yeah, I talked with her on Thursday, I want to say it was.
Yeah. Okay.
So they said they're working on it.
Yeah. Keep checking. So
Yeah.
Max, what about you? How are you doing with your contacts?
I've been making some contacts, but I still need to import them into my command. I
Okay.
wasn't sure how to do that.
So wait, you don't know how to do that? You're not sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Have you looked on Scott Leroy Marketing on their YouTube channel or our KW Advantage YouTube channel? There's tons of tutorials that our own agents that like Katie does and Trevor does to teach you how to do that.
Okay, awesome.
So my challenge to you is to have 25 contacts in command by Sunday night.
Got it. No problem.
You do it 5 a day. You can do all 25 on Sunday if that's what you want to do. But you got to start taking baby steps and getting them in there. Okay,
I like it when you guys give us homework.
Good.
I do.
good.
There's more where that came from.
Yeah. So the other thing that Tammy and Derek did, Tammy, did you send us your GPS?
No.
Or was it?
Derek did.
No. Okay. Did we talk about it? Yeah, it was with both of you, right?
Take care. I
Yes.
accepted your friendship, so make sure get you on
Okay.
Facebook. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So Michelle
I'll add
and
that
Max,
to my
are you
list.
familiar with GPSs?
Not sure what that means.
Like the one
Okay,
in your car?
so you're not. So goal, priority, and strategy is what that
Oh.
means. Which, you remember which launch that is? Did we have that near the end, Matt?
I think it's
Who throws up?
3.
Yeah, we've shuffled it around a bit because it was a bit overwhelming.
It was just in one of the last ones, and it was near the end, and that's why I remember you were like, Tammy, did you do this? And I'm like, can you remind me? And then you pulled up the sheet, and I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yep. All right. So Michelle and Max, go back and watch launch number 3. And go into the coaching drive and you will see a worksheet called a GPS worksheet. And
Can you
I'd like
open
for you
that
guys,
real quick?
yep. These were just examples. I would like for you guys to do your best, take a good stab at it, and send it to Matt and myself so we can look at it, because this is the beginning of creating a plan for yourself, right? So that you have something that you can follow every week, or else you're just kind of rolling around aimlessly.
Right.
That
Yeah, I do
that
have
make sense?
something similar to this that I made myself a while ago that I'm following, but I can send you that.
awesome.
Okay.
Well, why don't you take what you made for yourself and transfer it? You know, watch that number 3 launch and see see what this is and how this works, and then take that stuff that you've already formulated for yourself and plug it in here,
Okay.
right? And because there's gonna be a couple little, massages you want to make to something, perhaps, after watching it. and then we can go over that. So
Okay.
Michelle and Max, you guys can do that as well this week. Cool.
Got it.
I'll do it
It's-
too because
And
I
it's
didn't do it.
and it's not like I used to overthink this. It's just starting to put the things that you want to do in action, and it's not perfect, and you don't need to overthink it. We focused on that a little bit yesterday. It's just a matter of putting it on paper because we all have these things up here, right? It's starting to put them on, and then having actual accountability to yourself and your coaches about what it is that you're doing, and to make sure that those things are actually measurable things that you can do, not just, oh, I'm going to call people. It's, I'm going to call X amount of people every day or whatever the case may be. Okay. So it's things that you can actually check in and see that you've completed or not. So it'll
So,
be really important
instance-
going forward in 2021 to have this.
So for instance, Derek worked on his, and his goal for next year is to gain and grow his market share to 10% of his market, which he defines as Oxford, Lake Orion, Ortonville, and North Clarkston. So I like that you were specific about exactly what you're defining as your market, right? So that's important. And then, do you know what 10% of the market is? It's cut off, it's truncated, so you might have written it there and I just don't see it. You're on mute.
55 to 56.
Transactions?
How many listings? Yes,
Or
transactions. It should be
million.
transactions. That's how many it's sold. So, yep.
Okay,
Can't get greedy.
so it's okay. So can you guys hear me, or am I the one who's got choppy internet?
I had mine off.
I can hear you.
Okay, so just really quickly, because we're running late on time. For instance, like his first priority was to get leads. So what are his strategies to get more leads?
What
I
am
would say you might even want to be more specific with the lead thing, like how many leads, you could drill that down and be a little more measurable, but
Okay.
his first strategy is touch his sphere of influence 3 times a month. His next one is to add 15 contacts a week to his database. His third strategy is to have a database health score of 80% or greater. His fourth strategy for leads is 3 social media posts daily. Some of them, as for examples he has in there, could be local news, cross promotions, inspirational posts with his logo on it, right? Which is good. So 3 of those a day. And then his fifth strategy, referral network with realtors and property managed twice a week. What does that mean? What do you mean by, what are you going to do?
I go to lunch with all the local professionals at least once a week now. So basically going out
Okay.
and basically being seen. I'm one of them secret agents. So I like to hide in my house.
Okay.
I force myself to go out and go to something in Lake Orion. I live right. I can throw a stone and hit every single town. But like last night we went to Honcho's taco place right downtown Clarkson and kind of hung out with some people down there, which this is out of my comfort zone anymore. I used to love that stuff, but then I got hermit style, working all the time. So I'm trying to get back out and be seen and actually start to introduce myself again. So stuff like that every week.
That's great. And it's interesting, like, that you recognize that and that you're putting built into your plan something that baby steps, right? That helps you get back out of that. I think that that's excellent. So you guys who haven't done a GPS yet, he has very measurable things on here, touch 3 times, 15 contacts per week, 80% or greater health score. Like, it's stuff that you can go back and look at and say, yes, he did it, or no, he didn't. Right? Or how off was he, right?
Yep.
That's the kind of stuff that you guys need to do for this GPS. And once you have that all together, next week, what we can talk about is putting together a 411. And that's your marching orders for the week. And that comes directly off of this GPS. Cool? Everybody good?
Cool.
Cool. All right.
All
So we're
right.
done.
Thank you,
for
you
today.
guys.
Okay.
Found value in this.
Oh, Sharon, I actually
Absolutely.
had a question for you.
Sure.
I just wanted to wait till the end because it was more geared toward the closing on a list.
I'm going
Oh.
to go ahead and hop off. I need to use the restroom
Okay.
before Pete's forms. Okay,
Go
thanks.
ahead.
Go ahead and ask because everybody might have the same type of question. You never know.
Okay. So my seller is supposed to bring $5,000 for concessions to close. Is that something that he takes care of in a check or like electronic transfer?
That comes out of his proceeds.
Okay, got it.
So
Yeah.
you're going to get, when's the closing?
The 13th, so next
Okay.
Tuesday.
So you should ask the title company 2 days before if they'll give it to you. I love it when you get it 2 days before. Sometimes you get it the day before. But ask them for the ALTA statement, ALTA.
Okay.
And it's going to be a statement. I actually might have one right here in front of me somewhere. Oh, look, I have a closing package. I'll show it to you. It's a statement that shows you the debits and credits for the buyer and seller. Right? Can you see that?
Okay. Got it.
Right? So
Right.
credits and debits. And so you see what the price of the house is and any other money that they are giving away or getting, right?
Okay.
Because then when you get to the last page, it's going to show what the total is due to the buyer and the seller. That's going to include commissions, prorated property taxes, everything. So you want to look at that a day or two before closing, make sure everything looks good so that when you get to the closing table, there aren't any hiccups.
Okay.
But concessions should be on that form as money that's being taken away from the seller from the sales price, right? Their proceeds.
Yeah. So if they're going to get $100,000 after all expenses, then they're just going to get $5,000 less. So they're not actually bringing money there. They're just getting less at the table
Okay, got it.
because money can't actually exchange between the two. The title
Right.
company settles it all out. Just like the seller is not paying commissions out of their pocket. It's just reduced by the amount of their proceeds.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Is there anything I need to do to like prepare my seller for the closing as far as like him getting an electronics transfer set up?
So
Depending on the title company, ask how they distribute proceeds. Legacy Title, for instance, was just doing electronic. I just went to a closing the other day where they cut a check. If your buyers want, or if your sellers rather want the funds electronically, they need to bring their their account details, their routing and account number, as well as bank name. Sometimes the title company will charge a fee to wire the
like
funds.
$25 or something like that. It's not
They
much.
need to bring their copy of their they need to know their social security number. They need to bring a copy of their driver's license. Depending on if they're turning over occupancy or turning over possession at closing or not, they may have to shut off utilities or not shut off, call and transfer them out. Final water read if are they giving possession right at closing, or are they going to stay in it?
He's gonna have like 5 days occupancy.
Okay, so you still want to order the final water bill if it's city water. No, not too much else.
Thank you.
But yeah, it's important to review all the documentation before the closing. That way, when they get there, they're just kind of ready to sign.
Oh, I have one more question. So the title company, they're asking for a seller's owner policy. I wasn't exactly sure what that was.
Sellers, what policy?
Seller's owner policy.
Oh, for title company. The title company. Well, who's asking for that? The buyer's title?
Yeah.
Okay, the seller's title. Your title company is going to provide that to them.
Okay. Got it.
Because you have what's called a split title. There's a title company working for the seller, and there's a title company working for the buyer. The title company working for your seller is the one who provides the policy to the buyer of title insurance.
Okay, got it.
So if when in doubt, loop all the people together so they have each other's contact information.
That's what I was just going to ask. Are they all communicating with each other?
Yeah, yeah. We're all
Okay.
in one big email chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I might pick up the phone and call your contact for your title company and say, hey, they're asking for this. I just want to make sure you're able to provide that. I don't think, especially as you approach the
Okay.
closing, you can over communicate.
Okay, right.
No. And
Sometimes
you want,
there's
and
too many cooks in the kitchen, but
yeah, you just say, I just want to make sure I'm not dropping the ball anywhere.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely,
Right.
definitely.
Okay, cool. So,
Bye, guys. I'm leaving.
bye, you
Okay.
guys. So tomorrow is
you.
skills. We'll see you guys on Thursday. All right.
All right, thank you.
See you
Ciao.
guys.